The best antagonists are those you love to hate. At least, that's what I believe. You see, if you watched my last video, then you will know that I put Mammon in S tier in a Helluva Boss character tier list. By the way, that video received a lot of positive feedback, so thank you very much for the support. Moving on, I knew why I liked the character so much, but I didn't know if the community liked him as well. So I made a poll on my community tab with Stella, Crimson, Mammon, and Veronica. This poll was asking what character people thought was the best villain, with the majority of people saying Stella. Not only that, but Mammon was third behind this.
You think I give a shit about your stupid beard? Come on, Mox. I even went through the trouble of making the house more to your kind's liking.
Which is just crazy to me. Also, I made another poll where I asked people if they even liked Mammon. 70% of people said no, and only 30% of people said yes. I really do not understand why he is so hated, so in this video, I will be going over why I believe that Mammon, the leader of greed in Helluva Boss, is the best antagonist that Vivian Medrano has ever made. First off, let me tell you who Mammon is for all of you uncultured new gens in the back. Mammon is a rather fat and rotund individual. Being one of the 7 ringleaders of hell, Mammon is in charge of greed. His full demon form is an 8-legged monster, most resembling that of a spider. Now, some people in the fanbase have thought that the spider/jester design is inspired off of this design of Pennywise from the film It, based on the book under the same name written by Stephen King. This is a solid theory, however, the metaphor that he is a spider because he traps people to which they feel like they can't escape is a lot more intriguing to me. Mammon's main personality trait is that he is a menace for wanting constant financial gain.
Hello, I like money.
This makes sense because people have associated Mammon with money so much that in Matthew 6:24, depending on which version you use, it quite literally states, you cannot serve both God and Mammon. I'm guessing this is suggesting that you cannot be faithful to God and be greedy at the same time. Mammon is also a massive narcissist, a manipulator, and the worst part, Australian.
If you're a fucking fair dinkum fucking full-grown Aussie, this is what you'd have for breakfast, you fucking dog cunts.
Nah, I'm just kidding. In fact, Vivian hired the perfect Aussie to play Mammon. That person being Michael Cusack, the co-creator of Smiling Friends as well as other various animated skits on his own YouTube channel. He put so much character into Mammon's voice and he did extremely well with what he was given.
Yeah, it's fucking lunchtime!
Michael is a massive reason as to why I love Mammon so much, and why he is loved by so many others, but I still don't think that he's appreciated enough. Of course, all of the credit can't just go to the voice actor, even though Mammon wouldn't be as good as he is without Michael. Spindlehorse have done an amazing job giving this character a design that fits him, as well as his personality and his role within the series. I believe that Vivian gave Mammon this chunky and overweight build because Mammon is supposed to be a quote-unquote fat cat, being a way to describe someone who is very wealthy. Giving him a jester costume to complement the fact that he used to be a performer is also amazing. The writing in Mammon's debut episode, Mammon's magnificent musical mid-season special, fucking hell, that's a stupidly long name, is also really good. One of my favorite jokes in the entire series comes from this episode.
Also, if you're a chick, maybe give up on your dreams now, because I'm not gonna lie, women just ain't funny.
Was the knight in shining armor in your movie?
As well as this bit from Mastermind.
Yeah, it's fucking lunchtime!
The jokes aren't the only thing that was well written, of course. Spindle made sure that Mammon was a textbook definition of an asshole. The way Mammon puts himself on a pedestal above everyone else and looks down on them really shows.
What? Oh, and who's this dumpster diver you got here with ya?
Even those who are considered to be on the same step on Hell's hierarchy get disrespected by this guy regularly.
Oh, look who's acting like a big fucking hero. Careful what you say, Aussie. Wouldn't want your little secret getting out, would we?
Every decision Mammon makes is always dependent on one factor. Is it worth the money?
What are we doing next, Dutch? We just need money.
Take for example this scene. Now, I don't believe that Mammon turned away this child because he was young, because he was unhygienic, or because he was wearing raggedy clothing. His only reason for not letting him in was obviously purely because he couldn't pay the entry fee. He also sells merchandise of other people's likeness, even if they're not really entirely comfortable with it. Although he's not doing this because they're uncomfortable or because he's passionate about the merch that he's selling, but purely because it's putting more money in his pocket. It's things like this that really build a good character, not just a villain. Instead of having a character's ideals and values directly told to us in dialogue, or a character's backstory told in a flashback, we get to see this character show us how he ticks, just by him being a prick. My point is, it's not shoved in your face. This is a great way of writing characters, and I just wish it happened more often. Within this same episode, we get to see an insight into the darker traits of his personality. Mainly the way that he loves to manipulate, gaslight, and degrade those around him. In Season 2, Episode 7, we get to see Mammon try to gaslight Fizzarolli into believing that he is putting on weight.
Not gonna lie, you're looking a bit chungo, yeah? Maybe lose a few so we don't gotta make any more adjustments to the fizzies. People like them skinny as fuck.
Oh, right, sir. Of course. I'll work on that.
What?
Implying that it could affect his performance as well as his likeness to the already produced merchandise that he is based off. As we know, Blitz isn't the best person morally, but even he is disgusted by the way that Mammon is talking to Fizz. Later on, it's clear that all of the pressure from Mammon and the new competition has started getting to him. So naturally, he asks to sit out of the surprise meet and greet that Mammon had just announced 5 seconds prior.
Is it okay if I maybe skip the whole thing?
Of course not.
Of course, Mammon says no, like Fizzarolli has no choice in the matter, and guilt trips him by saying that he should do it for the fans and that it would also make a good impression.
Don't you want to do this for your fans? You gotta make a good impression, mate. The better the impression, the more they want a piece of you they can take home and
The way that he manipulates Fizzarolli here just shows you how much he isn't supposed to be a powerhouse type of threat, but rather someone who is just disgusting and evil by feeding off of others for his own gain. However, at this time, Fizzarolli believes that he is just a harsh boss. Straight after this, Mammon tells Fizz to do the meet and greet for him, acting like Fizz has a choice and that he'd be doing him a great favor.
just do this one thing for me.
Okay, sir.
This makes Fizzarolli reluctantly agree, further reinforcing the power that Mammon has with his words. Mammon is very thankful and tells Fizz to make him proud. Obviously, Mammon is manipulating Fizz here by rewarding his yes-man-like behavior with praise and encouragement. This approval from Mammon will make Fizz want to keep him happy by doing more for him. Moving on, when we see Fizz panicking over the amount of pressure on his shoulders, we see Mammon appear once again.
Yeah, mate. You're right, Fizzy.
He checks up on Fizzarolli, not to see if he's doing okay, but to make sure that he can still give his best and compete. Mammon acts like he is returning the favor from earlier by saying that Glitz and Glam can go on before Fizzarolli, just so he can have some time to get himself together. For a second, we see that Fizz actually believes that he is being kind to him. Unfortunately for him, we see that Mammon is not messing around and gives him a menacing look. This frame here is great, because not only does it tell Fizzarolli, but also the people at home watching that Mammon knows what he's doing, and that he recognizes that he is pulling the strings that are attached to Fizz. Even after this confrontation, Fizzarolli still believes that he is dependent on Mammon, so he can be something and have some sort of presence in hell. We see this the most when Fizzarolli says this.
You're with me because of who I am at my best. I'm barely worthy of working with a king of sin, because this is who I am.
Now you might be wondering why, after all Mammon has done, and after I have said all of this, why do I think he is the best antagonist? Well, it's exactly that. I believe that out of all of the villains in Helluva Boss, Mammon has done the best job at being that. A villain. Not every antagonist needs someone specific to despise or have a mortal enemy to try and kill, or even just to be an antagonist for the sake of being a strong opposition to the main cast of characters. That's why I love Mammon so much, or rather just one of the reasons. He is an awful person to those around him, manipulating his way through life and gaining materialism off of everyone else's work and misfortune, even if it's by his hand. The jokes that the writers produced for his scripts are nothing less than great, and they casted the perfect person to voice him. He is a character that no matter how much you hate what he does, you can't deny that he is a funny character that has so much personality and charisma. Whenever he is on screen, I always know that I'm going to enjoy the episode 10 times more. He is a character that you love to hate. Despite how bad of a person he is, you can't deny that he is charismatic and hilarious. Mammon is an extremely important character for this show to have, and even though he has only appeared in 2 episodes, he steals the show every single single time he's on screen. Whether that's because he has something to say, or because his figure is taking up so much of the screen. He is always almost demanding your attention. Overall, Mammon is a narcissist, a manipulator, a gaslighter, avaricious, and a massive Anything he does is done for money. He doesn't think about who gets hurt in the process, or the consequences of his actions. And in a way, he enjoys the amount of power that he holds over people, while being able to get away with everything. Even, most of the time, getting something out of it.
Money!
I think Mammon should be seen as a perfect example of why the best antagonists are those you love to hate.
Get me off the fucking train! Get me off the fucking train! I need to get off the fucking train!